Hello and welcome to another Guardians of Wiltshire video. I'm your host Derry, and this week I'll be painting a Corsair of Umbar. So this is the Corsair of Umbar I have chosen to paint. So the first thing we're going to do is use ESHIN grey to simply paint his cloth tabard around his torso. So it's all these bits. So this is the finished ESHIN grey layer. Next will be a layer of KANTOR blue. So I'm just going to leave the ESHIN grey in the deepest recesses and use this KANTOR blue to do a kind of first highlight on the raised areas. So here's the KANTOR blue kind of first layer. So next I'm going to apply DRAKENHOF Nightshade to all the blue areas, and you'll see with the ESHIN grey in the recesses it gives a bit more kind of depth and darkness to the colour. The next stage is to re-highlight up the KANTOR blue. So I'm just going to go over the ridges again and just leave a little bit around the edge, but just to pick out the blue again. Now that the KANTOR blue highlight is done, next we're going to go in with XEREUS purple. Like with the Haradrim, 2 thin coats might be needed, but just all over the pantaloons, if you want to call them that, of the Corsair. I'm not sure what else you'd call them. Now the pantaloons have been covered in XEREUS purple, I'm going to apply a shade of DRUCHI violet to them. So now the DRUCHI violet has dried, I'm going to come back in with XEREUS purple again and just highlight up the raised parts and leave the darker colour in the recesses. So now the XEREUS purple highlight has been complete, I'm going to take Nuln Oil and just dull down this purple colour a little bit. I think it's a bit too bright for what I want, and it gives some distinction between these guys and my Harad. As you can see, the Nuln Oil is still drying, but it is in a position where we can keep moving on. So next I'm going to take a Shabti bone and do kind of the cloth around the belt, so either side of the belt. This will need 2 thin coats definitely, all kind of lighter colours do, so it's kind of this section here. You'll see at the end of the video there will be other parts that are also coated in a Shabti bone, if the Corsair has an undershirt, etc. But I'll show you that near the end of the video. So the Shabti bone is finished. I think it's just because of the light you can't necessarily see the ridges in the cloth, however that will change when a wash is put on it. So next we're going to be using DRYAD bark, and that will be to do all the kind of leather parts around this Corsair. So he's actually got quite a lot compared to some of the others. So it's going to be all the different straps, etc. As you can see, all the straps, etc. are finished. So next is Steel Legion DRAB. And this is going to be on his forearm guards. I can't remember what they're called. So following the Steel Legion Drab, I'll just be using MOURNFANG brown to paint the spear shaft. This is the same colour as the bows on my bowman too. So once the spear shaft is done, next is BALTHASAR Gold, and this is going to be for the kind of metal plates that are on this guy's chest. I've chosen to do them BALTHASAR Gold to get a nice vibrant bit of metallic kind of contrast to the rest of the model. Following the BALTHASAR Gold highlight, or base layer I should say, next the Steel Legion Drab, MOURNFANG brown, ESHIN bone, DRYAD bark and the BALTHASAR Gold are all going to be washed with ESHIN. It's a nice simple wash and we'll pick up all the details and allow us to highlight them back up a bit later. So after that ESHIN wash, I'm just going to come in and highlight up again the Steel Legion Drab, that kind of vambraces. After the Steel Legion Drab, I'm going to take BANEBLADE brown and edge highlight the strapping. So I'm going to pick out these parts here very gently. Pick out all the strapping and edge highlight these straps here. If I feel it's a bit too bright, I'll literally just dab off some of the paint with my finger. So, following the BANEBLADE brown edge highlight, I've got back BALTHASAR Gold, and I'm just going to highlight up again the top edges of these kind of brass plates. Following the BALTHASAR Gold highlight, I'm going to bring in Gahana's Gold just to pick on the top edges of the brass plates again, just to give it a bit more of a shine. Next we're going to come in and just do all the skin in CADIAN FLESHTONE. So this is really simple, just all the skin, being careful where we've done the blue parts. Following the CADIAN FLESHTONE, I'm going to go in with ABADDON Black to do the hair. Obviously this guy's bald, so I'm just going to do his beard and his moustache. And the ABADDON Black is also for his boots. Following the ABADDON Black, I'm going to take some REIKLAND FLESHSHADE and just put it all over the skin. As the REIKLAND FLESHSHADE is drying, I'm going to take some Storm Vermin Fur and just do his kind of calf protectors. I can't remember the name for it. We'll just put 2 thin coats of this on. Following the Storm Vermin Fur, I'm going to simply add some Ironbreaker to the tip of the spear. Going back to the ESHIN bone, I'm just going to do a quick highlight, leaving the XEREUS in the recesses. Next thing to do is the hair, which after the ABADDON Black and the wash, I'm just going to take some ESHIN Grey and very simply give it a top highlight, just to break up the black a little bit more. So once that's done, if there was a normal head of hair, I'd go back and put Nuln Oil onto the hair, but I'm also going to put it on the silver bits and the kind of leg braces. Now I'm going to come back in with CADIAN FLESHTONE and just highlight up all the bits of the skin. Following the CADIAN FLESHTONE highlight, I'm just going to take my Storm Vermin Fur again. Now that the Storm Vermin Fur is finished on the leg braces, I'm going to come in and do the black for the eyes, and also do some tattoos on him. So this is just quite watered down Abaddon black, and I'm just going to give him a little bit of a swirl. A bit of a flick down the side of his head, and then a few dots under his eyes. And now the last thing we need to do is 2 little white dots for the eyes. This is obviously easier said than done, especially when on camera. And there we are. So here we have the finished Corsairs, and I've included a range of war gear so you can see what each bit's like, and I'll give you a quick run through of the colours again. So the blue for the kind of tunics is ESHIN grey, then KANTOR blue with a DRAKENHOF NIGHTSHADE wash, and then KANTOR blue highlight. The purple pantaloons, I think I called them earlier, XEREUS purple, DRUCHI violet, XEREUS purple, and then Nuln Oil wash over the top to give them a bit more darker colour. The undershirts and belts are a Shabti bone with Agrax Earthshade and then a Shabti bone again. The forearm guards are Steel Legion Drab, an Agrax Earthshade wash, and then Steel Legion Drab again. The leather strapping is DRYAD bark with Agrax Earthshade and BANEBLADE brown. The arrow tips, the feathers, are Karak stone with an Agrax Earthshade wash. The spears, quiver and bows are MOURNFANG brown with Agrax Earthshade wash with DRYAD bark on the darker parts of the quivers. The hair is ABADDON black, ESHIN grey kind of highlights, and then a Nuln Oil wash. The metalwork, so the daggers and the swords and the spear tips, are Ironbreaker, Nuln Oil wash, and then Ironbreaker again. The skin is CADIAN FLESHTONE, REIKLAND FLESHSHADE, then CADIAN FLESHTONE. Their lower leg guards are Storm Vermin Fur, Nuln Oil wash, and then Storm Vermin Fur again. And finally, the all the bronze is BALTHASAR gold, Agrax Earthshade wash, BALTHASAR gold, and then Gehenna's gold just to top it off. So if you've liked how I paint my Corsairs, please give this video a like, share and subscribe. There'll be more painting tutorials to come. I've got a couple in my mind for the future, but other than that, thank you for watching and we'll see you soon.